Today we're going to be talking about using an inventory management system in construction that's actually easy to use. For our use case, we're going to be a foreman on one of our job sites, and we need some material delivered out to us from our warehouse. So the first thing that we need to do is fill out a material request. Now, I have seen tons and tons of different forms in construction, and normally they're garbage because they ask you to fill out so many different fields just to get the information that you're looking for. So oftentimes you'd have to put in your name and your phone number and information about the job site. And there's really an easier way to do this rather than having 50 different fields that you need to fill out. So one of the things that we can do is you can see in my form up top, we're able to pass in some information. So this form already knows who the requester is ahead of time. So that's something that your team could have bookmarked, they could have saved in their email. They just click and open up the form, and it's already pre-filled with the information that they need to actually get this job done. Now, we don't have to pre-fill in this information. So for example, I could choose a different requester that I have. So let's go ahead and put Buck Randall on this, and we're going to add his job site. Now here you can see we just have two different job sites to choose from because those are the job sites that he's on. We don't need to take all of the information about all the job sites across all the projects that we're working on. Let's contextualize it to make it really easy that he can just choose from the relevant job sites. So we'll go ahead and choose Stonehill Estates. Now down here we can confirm the address, so we make sure that that's correct, and then we just need to add the materials that we want to get sent out to our site. We'll add materials, and we'll add some drywall. So let's go ahead and add this, and we'll put in a quantity of 25. And now let's add another item. And this time we'll search for plywood. And we'll add a quantity of 20. And we're good to go and submit our request. The next thing we're going to do is dig in and see what this would look like from the warehouse manager's perspective. By means of introduction, hey, I'm Dan Lehman from Crewmatic.com, and we help construction companies get automated with their business processes by creating custom tailored software to your own business processes. We know there's tons of software out there for construction, but oftentimes it's clunky, it's old, the software doesn't talk to each other, and we think there's a better way to do this. So in today's video, we're talking about inventory management. Right now, I'm building this on top of NoLoco, which is one of the many tools that we love to build construction software on top of. So as the warehouse manager, I now see my different active requests for new material requests, and we see this one that came in from Buck. So I could approve it just out of hand if I wanted to, but let's go ahead and drill in and just take a look at the details of this. So we've got our statuses across the top. I can see this is coming from Buck at our Lot 7 residence on the Stonehill project. And here we need to send out some plywood and some drywall. So the next thing that we say is, hey, this looks good to us. Let's go ahead and approve it. Now, what you can see this did is it automatically created a new transfer. So we've got our initial material request, and then we approved it, and now we've created a transfer. And we might have to create multiple transfers. If I don't have all my stock on hand in this warehouse, maybe we have to pull it from another warehouse. But for this example today, we're just going to be talking about a single transfer so that we can get this out of our warehouse onto the job site for Buck. So again, here's where we would source it from. We're pulling from one warehouse. We might have it from another. And then we've got our requested items that we can see. And at this point, we've got it on hand. We can go ahead and scan this in. So if we're talking about heavy equipment and things like that, we might add items manually. But if we're talking about smaller materials, we can certainly scan those with a barcode scanner. So I'm going to open up my mobile application here and scan these items. So I'll pull open the scanner, and we've got a barcode here. We'll scan that, and you can see that item now shows up. Let's go ahead and scan our other item here. We could scan them individually or could do them continuously here, but we'll pull open those two items, and you can see this is automatically scanned them in. It's added it. Now, again, it's up to us. We could keep doing continuous scan mode, or I just want to click and adjust the quantities themselves. So I'm going to click in here, and we'll change the quantity to 25. And notice what it's doing here when we have that one item that's partially fulfilling that material request. But as we update that, we can now see this has updated that requested items to show that we completely fulfilled that request. And let's do the same with plywood. We'll change that quantity to 20. Again, if we could only fulfill part of it from this warehouse, then we still have that outstanding request so that we could fill that with another transfer. I'll check that off. Great. So at this point, we have everything that we need for our transfer. We've loaded it onto the truck. We can go ahead and mark this in transit. And then back on the job site, we'd be able to take that delivery and receive our items. Now, any good inventory management system isn't going to just let you transfer inventory. You should be able to have a real-time view of the inventory across the different locations, be it at the warehouse or even on the job site. So let's go ahead and click into our job site for the Lot 7 residence. We can see we've got a map of the location and information about the job site itself. And if we scroll down, we can see all of the different transfers that we've had to and from that job site from the warehouse. We can also see our inventory on hand because, again, this is an always up-to-date system. When we're checking in and out that inventory, we can see where that inventory is, when it's being consumed. So we've got all of that information. And we also have our equipment that's on site, including our heavy equipment. So if we click into, let's say, the skid steer, this is where we can track our maintenance information about it. So we've got this particular unit and we scroll down, we can see our maintenance summary, as well as different logs of what's happened. So we can upload documentation, receipts, all of that can be here so that we can easily keep track of the machinery that we have on site, as well as our material. Now, another really cool feature of using a no-code or work management platform like NoLoco is that we can create our own automations that fire in the background based on what we're actually doing in the inventory management system. So for example, here I have a low inventory alert. And so this triggers when we have an item and its current stock level changes. When that triggers, then we've got some logic here to be able to say, hey, if that current stock level for this item is under the low inventory threshold, we want to fire off an alert. And so maybe to do that, we send a push notification or send an email to say, hey, you probably want to make a purchase order so that we have this inventory on hand. I hope this has been helpful to see how an inventory management system can function in your construction business. If you have questions on how to optimize your own business processes or build software that actually works for your business, don't hesitate to reach out to our website at crewmatic.com, where we're offering free 30-minute consultations.